Hello and good morning everybody. So we are here for the Frontiers in Advanced Materials conference, which is going to cover topics as varied as strongly correlated electronic systems, functional oxides, magnetism and semiconducting nanostructures. If anybody is wondering as to why we have such a mix of topics, it's because of the personality who is involved, whose 60th birthday celebrations we are having through this conference during this week. Well, he has worked in both theory and experiments in strongly correlated electron systems and in functional oxides and in magnetism and in semiconducting nanostructures. So that's the reason why we have such a varied topic. And this is also the time for me to give a brief introduction to Didi, because many of you have known him only somewhat later than what I have known him. He joined IIT Kanpur in 1972 as a MSc integrated physics student. Actually, he had a rank of 452 or so in IIT JEE, and he could have chosen any branch in any IIT, but he chose to do physics, and he came to IIT Kanpur, the best place that you could think of at that time for doing physics. And as a student, he was extremely interested in sports, particularly in football, and he was a goalie. So what happened was, usually he would be having lots of friends around the goal post, and they would be smoking. And one of those times he just went to the side, wanted to take a drag from one of his friend's cigarettes. The unfortunate thing was, the people who were the forwards on the opposing side did not take it very kindly, and they sent a ball right past him into the net, and that was the end of his football career. And he decided, okay, sports is not for me. And then, of course, he was also very active, probably in some of the left movement in IIT Kanpur, which he actually continued when he came to IISc as a PhD student, because he was a student leader those days, taking up student issues very aggressively with the then director and so forth. And so this was something that was all before 30. He was 30, and then he kind of went abroad for a postdoc, and he came back. By then he had given up. Like the saying goes, if you are below 30 and you are not a communist, then you don't have a heart. If you are above 30 and you are a communist, you don't have a brain. And what he has shown is that he has both a heart and a brain. And after he came back here, actually as a faculty member who joined here in 1985, if I'm right, 86, okay. It was in 1986, and then that was around the time these personal computers came. And when the personal computers came, that was in sometime in 88 or so, and Wipro people came and sold him a PC, and that PC was called Little Genius, and they advertised it with Didi's photograph in newspapers saying that here is the little genius. So actually it was a Wipro company which I found that he was a genius much before any of us could, because we waited for some more time, and we are really sorry that we missed the boat. And after that, as a young faculty, over the last 30 years or so, we have been together sitting through many interviews and so forth. And during interviews, we always had fun. This was probably the most joyous occasion for us, having interviews for 5 days, when we talk to young students who are aspirants for IISc, and whom we ask all kinds of questions over and over again. And then we don't have much recreation except sharing jokes here and there. And of course, at that time he was also very serious, in the sense that if in the early part, when there were some serious difficult questions that were asked in the interview, immediately he would make a note of it, go home and put it up to his children, because his children were at that time writing IIT JEE exams, and they were preparing for the IIT, and they're extremely smart student, children, because everyone knows that they did extraordinarily well in life, and they are also very well recognized. So that was the way he was. He was a very doting father, very careful, and always trying to spend time with his children and family. And he's quintessentially a family man. And of course, he is the one who started collaborations in my generation on an international scale. I'm not talking because Professor C.N.R. Rao, of course, founded the department, and he was very well known internationally, and he had many collaborations internationally. But after him, the person to have most international collaborations was actually D.D., and he would be traveling a lot. And of course, he would also go for walks very fast. So I keep telling him, don't walk so fast. Already your average velocity, average speed is like 50 kilometers per hour or so, and it will go up much, so that is better that you walk slowly, because his average elevation was like 5,000 feet and his average speed was 50 kilometers per hour if you take the average over his lifetime. And then, he has been one of the most successful scientists that I have known, and he has been a very well-known figure of Indian science, and he has had many young students, okay, right from these summer training students who come from their MSc program or BSc program to integrated PhD summer projects, and then to integrated PhD students and regular PhD students and postdoctoral fellows. He had all of them in very large numbers, and they have been very successful. So it actually shows that he is actually an avuncular mentor. And besides, what is really interesting about DD is that he has taken care of his senior colleagues as well. So those who are due to retire or who are retiring, he has always taken care to make sure that they have a lab, they have a place, they should come to the department regularly, and so forth. So it's actually a punishment if you are actually retiring when DD is there, because he will ensure that you continue teaching, you continue doing research, and so on and so forth, because that is the way he is. And he has been an extraordinarily helpful colleague, and he has always taken care of his colleagues, and also the children of the colleagues are also very friendly with him. So they have always gone around with him and have been inspired by his talks, and so on and so forth. One of the fantastic things that DD has done in his career is to lead the National Synchrotron Initiative. He is the one who has single-handedly established a synchrotron initiative in the Europe, and also has a synchrotron program with Argonne National Lab in Chicago, and through the DST has been able to get funds, and a very large number of students from all over the country have actually gone and trained and used the facility, trained themselves, published very good work, and so on and so forth. So that is one of the great lasting contributions that DD has given to the institute and to the Indian science. And he, as a scientist in both theory and experiment, he is outstanding. In fact, I keep teasing him that whenever we keep counting the number of theorists in the department, he is the one who is counted first, because he has done extensive work in theory, particularly of strongly correlated electron systems, as well as in energy band theories and density functional theories, and so forth. And it's indeed really befitting that we are having a conference to celebrate the science that he has actually contributed to. And I'm extraordinarily grateful to all of you who have come from long distances, braving jet lags, and spending the valuable time, your valuable time here with us to make this conference a success.